Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Noel Fetters, and I am the new Director of Emergency Management here in the state of Florida, recently appointed by the governor just a couple of weeks ago. Prior to my appointment to this position, I served as the fire chief for two local fire departments here in the state. Both departments were 20-station departments serving a population of roughly 350,000 people with equal annual budgets of roughly $85 million. Both departments that I served with offered services ranging from fire prevention inspection to specialized services such as tech rescue and hazardous materials response, community risk reduction programs, in-house fire training academies, to include the tech rescue series that's required in order to have tech rescue teams, as well as cadet programs for those wishing to become firefighters. We also provided emergency medical services at the advanced life support capacity, and we also provided EMS transports as well. Currently, I have 2 master's degrees, 2 bachelor's degrees. I'm state certified fire officer 2, safety officer, fire inspector, live fire instructor, and the list just goes on. I'm also tech series in technical rescue incidents, having served on a task force team in years past, and is also part of a hazmat team as well. Some of the areas I'd like to focus on during my tenure here as the emergency management director is communication. It's always the most important. It's always the one that seems to get pushed under the rug at times. And I feel that no matter what we do, communication with the general public is just never enough. And I feel that it's time to step it up, and that we need to make time for the public and just go out and meet with them. Just whenever, just at various times. Just set it up, go out, meet with them, tell them a little bit about what we do and how we do it and how the process works. And also explain to them that during times of disasters that they can count on us. They need to know, the community needs to know that when things start to go south, that we're going to be there for them as quickly as possible. Some other things I'd like to work on is expanding our current specialized task force teams. We currently have 8 in the state of Florida, and one of them is a FEMA team, and that team is eligible to be deployed at overseas at any time for any reason. So that leaves us with 7. And during times of disasters, such as hurricanes, or in recent years, structural collapse of a condo building, those teams are brought in and they're spread thin and they're working. So other things I'd like to focus on is some of the larger departments in the state of Florida, is letting them put together their own task force teams and allowing them to be eligible to receive some state funding to help fund the team, because they're the backup to these guys, to the task force. They're the backup teams. And so everybody needs to know that they're going to be rescued and they're going to be taken care of, and that we're going to be out there working and doing what we need to do. Some other important factors we need to work on is developing better working relationships with our private sector companies, such as private ambulances. Their resources invaluable during times of disaster. They are. You know, all the fire departments and the first responding agencies, we are scrapped. You know, we are busy. And we need to be able to rely on the private sector to backfill what, the fire department and local agencies can't get to. I want them more involved. I want to get them, trained as to letting them know what we expect during these times. Can't just have people running around and doing whatever. I want them involved. I do. I wholeheartedly do. And with the elected officials, budgeting is always important. but during times of disaster and mitigating the disaster, money, it needs to be put out there. We're going to need, emergency funds to get the equipment, to get the resources that we need to get the job done. The other thing is working with other state agencies. Those state agencies, we already have a good working relationship. We all know what to expect from each other. We just want to take that to the next level. We just want to enhance it. We just want to do some more training and communicate with them more and get them more involved with mitigating the response. And each agency being able to allow them to do what they do, whether it be clearing roads or running power and water and sewer lines, getting all those back up online. We all need to just back each other up. Wildfires. We don't have a big wildfire here in the swamps. We just don't. However, when we do have some of those wildfires that do kick off, our first responding agencies for those local areas, they're on top of it. They're there within a good amount of time, and Division of Forestry here, they're on top of it, back burning all the underbrush, taking the necessary precautions to prevent major outbreaks of wildfires like out west. I just want to continue to give them the resources and continue to empower them to do what they do, and they do it well. The next thing is EMS. It's the bulk of what we do. And we just want to be able to increase our response during times of, disaster when it comes to EMS. And disaster could be, a mass shooting or a 70-car pileup on the interstate, or, cars driving into sinkholes or off bridges and so forth. We just want to make sure that we have the resources in place to be able to handle the amount of patients that may result from that type of incident. Trends that impact emergency response. Gaining and building trust in the community is probably the biggest obstacle of all. Everybody has their own opinion on what we do or what we don't do or what we should do. And again, this just goes back into getting involved in the community, getting the information out there. Having town halls, inviting people in the community to come, doing video conferencing such as this, putting it out there, whether it be on web-based online or in person, which I prefer the in-person type meeting, because then people can really decide for themselves what they're getting, because anybody can go online and say anything and make anything sound good. But when you're in person, you get that authenticity. And I think that's what people really want these days. They want to know that there's somebody they can depend on and that there's somebody they can trust. And they'll get that more with an in-person meeting than they would online. But understand that being in person is not always possible. And that's where, I'm going to rely on all of you to get out there in your community, to get the information out to them. The frequency of how often you want to meet with people, that's entirely up to you. And whenever you do, please reach out to my office. We will do what we can to support your efforts. Let you guys know, too, that you're supported, that we back you. Because gaining community trust, that's the most important thing. Got to have it. We want to take care of our responders that are out there, mitigating the incident. We want them to know we got their best efforts at heart too. We want them to not feel like their efforts are in vain. We want to make sure that they are well taken care of, that they're getting the breaks that they need, that they got the equipment, and they've got the support that they need as well. That's important. And I'm looking for a few good team members. So if you think you have what it takes and you're motivated and you want to be on the team, please fill out the application and come aboard. I would love to have you. I don't care what your background is. I don't care where you're from. I don't care what color of your skin is. I don't care. I want people that are motivated. That's what I want. All the other stuff is whatever to me and to my office as well. So with that said, thank you for your time. I look forward to working with each and every one of you, and I hope that we can make the best out of the next 5 years. Thank you very much.